BC's wildfire situation is showing no signs of slowing down.
The early and intense wildfire season in BC has calls for government to call a state of emergency.
With more than 300 fires burning, Cache Creek's fire chief wonders why the province hasn't yet declared a state of emergency.
Begin with breaking news. An out-of-control wildfire is burning in a hillside between Oliver and Osoyoos.
Not 15 minutes ago, Graham and I just caught a little segment on the news that was saying that there's a massive forest fire starting just right now in Osoyoos. It's about a 4-hour drive from here. So we packed up the vehicle, as you can kind of see. And we're gonna drive up to Osoyoos. We immediately knew that the fire had closed in proximity to the city from what we had seen on the news just before we had left. We watched as it crawled down the hillside and drew closer to the city. Small convoys of vehicles organized across the lake, evacuated from their shelters as the fire illuminated their path through the streets that were ordinarily pitch black by this time at night. Truthfully, we couldn't see much, but through the dense layer of smoke, we did catch a glimpse of an emergency vehicle right at the edge of the flame wall, bravely contesting against Mother Nature's most fierce element. Well, we've got our bed set up for the night here in Osoyoos. A fire in the background and then little cramped quarters here, so we'll see you in the morning. After a short sleep, we looked out across the lake to see that the fire had subsided in ferocity. We spoke to a few locals, including some that had been evacuated, as they recounted their gripping tales of retreat and uneasiness that they had of their future. Shortly after, we packed up our gear and took the winding roads down into the city. Past 7 a.m. in Osoyoos. It does look like they've contained the fires for the most part, so the crews have done an excellent job here, considering that there was no bombers or any form of water dispersion last night, obviously, and they haven't used any yet this morning either. So they've managed to, for the most part, contain this on the ground level, and I think everyone here is really grateful for that. So I'll just leave you with some photos of the area before we take off. But before we had a chance to leave, the conditions around us changed dramatically. So the wind's picked up over the past hour or so, and just behind me over on the lake is the first of basically the bomber squad picking up water from the lake and then heading over to the other side to dump it on the small bushfires that are sort of spreading. Earlier in the morning, the fire seemed to die down, but the wind has really whipped up and the fire is definitely growing again. And just above me, the bombers are making their passes through. So right above my head right now, you can sort of see the bombers flying by. And there's a big convoy of them. 7 or 8 of these bombers are just flying through, making passes of the water. Picking up water and then dropping it on the fire behind me. I don't know if you can even hear me right now because of the wind, but there's a lot going on. There's the bombers out over the lake picking up the water. There's the helicopters picking up some water and then dumping it in the most eastern, southeastern areas of the fire. And to be honest with you, anything that's on the sort of northeast side of this Osoyoos Lake is looking like it's in for a couple of wild days. Behind Graham and I is just a ton of smoke. It's all billowing up this way and it's getting really thick, really heavy. This will probably be the last little clip we get from Osoyoos before we turn back around and head back down to the lower mainland, because you can't even see. It's just getting so thick. So we're gonna turn around and get back home, and hopefully everybody up here stays safe, really.